Okay. Topic of this video is going to be simply on the fact why women cannot find or be around the proper or great men for them. Okay. Um, One of the reasons, to really, really get down to the logistics of everything, is not having an example from early on in life to show them or to give them a guide as to the proper type of guy to choose. Like, if a sister is young, we have to realize a sister and a brother, when they're young, they're looking to the older people or the older men and women in their lives to be the examples of what it is in order to be a man. Because when we first start learning anything in life, everything we do is by imitation, whether it's writing, driving, sports, everything we do, we imitating somebody else first. Now we may put our own little spin on it later after we master or get the foundation
The
in the
basics.
beginning.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything starts from imitation. And you can look at this when it comes to like when little girls are playing with babies, little baby dolls and stuff when they're younger.
They'll learn how
They
to be a
treat
mother.
right. They treat their little baby based upon how they've either seen their mother or somebody else treat other little babies, including them.
Funny thing, to add to that, uh, a lot of times I just like to listen. I'll stay quiet and listen to my girls playing, and I don't know, if most people out here can relate to this, but I know when I was a kid, I used to get whoopings. You know what I mean? And in turn, my kids get them too, because I know what it did for me. It taught me consequences and repercussions.
Right.
Uh, they imitate that. I sit there and listen to them, and they're sitting in the bedroom whooping their baby doll.
Yeah.
So
And it's interesting because when I used to observe my little cousin doing that when she was younger, it's like she beat the baby doll worse than
exactly,
they can beat at home. It'd be like, and then you have to sit like, am I that bad? Now that's just their interpretation of it.
exactly.
You know, I mean, because they're always on the receiving end of the ass whipping. They ain't
Of
actually
course.
giving the real ass whipping. They're on the receiving end. Plus, they know they can't kill that doll.
Uh huh.
You know, so so the thing with that, imitation is the number one key when it comes to learning anything, any behavior, any actions, whatever else. So let's say, for instance, if the quality of the father in the home is of a great quality. He comes home, he interacts with the wife well, or at least with the woman well. Because they may
Yeah.
not be married per se. If they're always laughing, having fun, joking, when they disagree, it's not a major argument or anything of that sort. Then that's going to be reflected in the children that's around.
Of course.
Okay, especially if it's not a whole lot of negativity. However, if it's a situation where like you grew up in a home, whether single or both parents, and the interaction of the man and a woman is sneak tip, or say for instance, it's after the children's supposed to be asleep and
Uh
stuff
huh.
like that. An example: my mother, you know, after the time that she was married, or when she wasn't married anymore, so to speak, um, the men that she would be involved with, or the men she would see, we would always see. We might see a glimpse of his ass, but then we ain't see him no more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here it is. As I came up in high school and going into the after high school years until I got older and more mature to learn what the hell I was doing, I thought it was okay to be on the side on the sneak tip. You want to know why? Because that's what I saw.
Yep.
That's what I interpreted. I mean, what makes it so bad? I even went to school with the dude's daughter. You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
imagine me sitting there right next to the girl. I saw her daddy last night, but I'm not supposed to say nothing. So those are things right there, secrecy and all of that stuff. That's ingrained in me at that time. Okay, so if a young sister is growing up and she's seeing a man in her household yelling at mom, disrespecting mama, not interacting with mama, and that's her example.
That's her form of of being loved.
That's her form of love, and especially if the mother is doing what she can to compete for this man's attention.
Exactly.
Now the techniques that she may use to compete for this man's attention may be starting bullshit, saying enough. It's just like some children will get in trouble just so the parents will say something to them.
Or
They have some type of interaction.
Or in some examples that I've seen where I've seen uh, women and then I've seen their mothers in action. The mothers pretty much say, okay, I'm going to do anything if that means giving myself when I really don't want
Mm-hmm.
to keep that man around, then I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to go do that.
Mm-hmm.
Any example that you would see as a child, it gets ingrained, just like you said earlier, and that's the whole point taken because once you see these things, it becomes normal.
Right, whether it's good or bad, it becomes normal. One thing about the subconscious mind of an individual, and because we got to get down to the mental science involved in all of this also. One thing that has been shown, whether the ancient Kemites and other people know it or scientists have come to find out now, is that when you see stuff for so long, it becomes normal. It's no different than like if you got a wide receiver, because you play football.
Yep.
When you first start playing football and you got to run full speed and cut across the middle, and that ball get thrown in your face, and you got to catch this ball and keep this dude from knocking this ball out of your hand, the first few times you do it, it's hard as hell. It is challenging because you got to concentrate on the ball 1 second, and then you got this safety finna light your ass up.
Yep.
However, as you keep repeating and continually doing the same exercise over, it becomes normal. You expect to hit now.
There's a blueprint.
It's a blueprint. You expect to hit. Then, if you're a smart player, you know how to cheat it. You'll know how to break like you going across the middle and then shoot up in a 7 round and go deep. However, until then, you got to get used to doing that particular thing because that's the basis. So, say for instance, if Pops is always beating Mama, and there's nobody that I've seen that when they initially saw their mother and or father being abused or something like that, all of them knew it was wrong. Something just told them, nah, they'll be crying, no, don't do this, don't do that. After a while, it happens.
Whatever.
The child accepts it as normal. This is the way things are supposed to be. And then being a child ain't a hell of a lot you can do to control the situation.
No.
So you ain't got no choice but to accept the way it is. And so then when you get older and you start to interact with women, being that your father could not communicate with you well, that's how it's going to be with you and your woman possibly.
Exactly.
Unless you do the complete reverse, the extreme, and you become completely docile because you hated to see a woman get hit so bad to the point that you won't do nothing at all and take antagonistic towards her so that she doesn't see or reflect the same pain that mama got. But see, now you finna get pain.
That's right.
You gonna get pain now. So to our sisters out here, if they're constantly seeing a guy who's coming in when he want to, leaving when he want to, there's no genuine affection or interaction between her and the mom, and hear some screaming and hooping and hollering in the room every now and then, she will accept that this is part of reality.
Yeah.
That this is accepted, this is how it's supposed to be, especially when she know other people around her
are
doing the same thing or in the same situation.
Yeah. And, to add on to that, it's to the point where you have that situation, but that's what each individual, as an individual, have to make the decision or figure out at some point, okay, at what point did I start letting this happen to me?
Mm-hmm.
Let me trace this back. What did my parents do?
Mm-hmm.
How did they handle situations?
Right.
Because I know, for one, I know a couple of sisters right now that every last one of them, there has been some form of molestation, there has been some form of abuse in their childhood, and that in turns made them pretty much say, okay, well, all the intimacy, all the joy and pleasure that can come from sex is gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's out of it, or the latter part of it, because it can go both ways. They end up turning into sex crazed